when people opt out of that sequence, when people say, never contact me again, or they block your number, that's okay because you're not talking to them. But don't stop talking to the rest of your customers for the sake of those ones that don't want to hear from you anyway. Remember, failure was part of the objective of entering the gym this morning.
Are there things in your business that are worse off for having you involved in them?
How can I use my business as a way to be there for my family more?
Those outputs can only be reined in and intentionally developed or directed by managing the inputs.
Forced us eventually to take over 2 years of our life to dig out of just to get to zero.
You don't have the things from the places you haven't gone to.
Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. The flies come for the poo, right? There's a push-pull effect with all of your marketing, and it needs to be pushing away the customers that are not a good fit and drawing in the ones that are.
Hey, welcome to all of you, bandits and chilies. This episode is called Follow-Up Equals Family Time. And the intent here is to really draw a straight line between something that you should probably improve within your business. Me too. There's an endless list of possibilities for this one. But how improving that thing directly enables your business to better serve you and your family. Now, obviously, the thing that we're talking about is following up with leads and customers. We're mainly going to focus on the latter here, but we'll give a quick nod to the former as well. So picture this. You're wrapping up a long day. The team needed a bit of babysitting today and your admin called in sick. So the leads that came through today, they just haven't really been touched. And that's happened a bit lately. So they haven't been touched again. And the follow-up for your existing customers, that's also not up to date. You were planning to pick the kids up from school, but that ship has long sailed and you didn't even get home in time for their promised bedtime story. Even now that you're home, you're there, but you're not present because your mind is still at work, running through that mental checklist of people that you should have followed up with, but didn't. Should I text Sarah about that quote? Is it too late, do you think? Did Mike open that email? What happened to that lady from Tuesday? Most business owners think that poor follow-up costs money, and it does, but what it really costs you is time, stability, and peace of mind. The time spent wasted chasing people who have already moved on because your follow-up took too long to engage, and then winging it every day because you don't have a proper system in place. The stability of having a consistently booked schedule and the peace of mind that comes from knowing that those tasks are handled and that the calendar is looking healthy. Poor follow-up is a quiet killer of freedom, and it can create a loop that is hard to get out of, or worse yet, that can just start to feel like your new normal. That loop is more chaos, more stress, more guilt, less time and focus with your family. Have you heard of the Zeigarnik effect? The gist of it is that unfinished tasks tend to dominate our attention far more than completed ones. So getting stuff done is one thing that contributes to your ability to switch off from work mode and jump into family mode. Now, let's flip the script. Imagine this. Leads come in and your follow-up process fires automatically. Everyone gets instant contact without you lifting a finger. Your admin knows exactly what to say, when to say it, and how to handle objections. And if your admin is sick, you have automations to fall back on which can pick up the slack to tide things over. Instead of losing jobs, you're gaining hours. Now, you're at dinner with your family and you're fully present because your mind is not active on that list, that checklist of unfinished tasks. You're on the tools and behind your desk less, and you're with your kids more. And your revenue is consistent because your follow-up is doing the heavy lifting. Follow-up isn't just about closing jobs. It's about closing loops in your brain so that you can actually breathe life into your family. Now, if you have some mental resistance to upping your follow-up game, it's probably because it feels awkward, you don't want to be too salesy, you don't want to harass people, or you just feel like you flatly don't have the time. Brandon Vaughan says, if you don't have a system for doing follow-up, then you have a system for losing money. Here's a quick exercise that you can do to get this off the ground. You can use a pen and paper, a Google Doc, a whiteboard. I don't know, you could probably arrange some paper cups, whatever takes your fancy. But basically, just map out your customer life cycle. From the point of initial contact, how are people hearing about you? How do they get funneled through your business? When do they reach out to you? What happens at the point when they reach out to you? How long does it take them to arrange a quote? How long does it take them from the point when they get a quote to when they can book? What's the shortest time that can be? What's the average time? Just roughly, don't need to get too caught in the weeds. And then once they book, what's happening around that booking? What's the contact before the booking looking like? Do they get a booking reminder? Do they get an on-the-way text? When the techs arrive to do the job, do they have an arrival script, a midpoint touch script, an end-of-job script? What are they doing after the job? Is there some neighbor marketing going on, some Fiverr rounds? Then after that, the next step in our process is a quality call, which typically happens the next business day. And that call is very customer service centric. It's about making sure that they're completely happy with absolutely everything from that job. Now, our techs have already done that at the point of the service, but the way that we frame this is it varies a little bit depending on the service, but I'll just use window cleaning as an example. We'll say that we want to make sure that they're completely happy with it because after our team has left, maybe some streaks have shown up on the windows when the sun hits at that particular angle at that time of day, right? So we want to double check and make sure that you're completely happy in case you've noticed anything from the point where we've left until the point of the quality call. So it's very customer service centric, but it also gives us the opportunity to ask for some things. Now, there's a big long list of things that you could ask for at this point in the customer journey. There's more things that you could ask for than you have space to put into that call because you want it to be more customer focused than it is asking for things. But some of the things that you could ask for would be reviews, referrals, trying to get them scheduled for their next booking. There's a whole host of things that you could insert into that. Then after that, what happens? Are you making regular contact with that client beyond the point of their booking? Do they get any contact or engagement from you about maybe tips for maintenance, tips for DIY stuff that they can be doing, just educational content that could be going out in their direction, maybe through an email or a text with a quick link to a social media post once in a while? When do you next follow up and suggest a rebooking? You don't want to just follow up and only ever suggest a rebooking because then every time they are hearing from you, you're just asking from them. So we want to make sure that our follow-up includes elements that actually add real, genuine value. And here's the thing, whatever follow-up you're doing, however you structure it, you are going to annoy people. Some people are not going to like it, and that's okay because you're not actually talking to those people. You need to build out your entire follow-up system so that you are talking to the person who it's for, who it benefits, right? The person who wants to know those handy tips, the person who wants that extra service, the person who is grateful for the reminder that, oh, wow, I didn't realize it had been 3 months or 6 months or 12 months, whatever it is. So when people opt out of that sequence, when people say, never contact me again, or they block your number, that's okay because you're not talking to them. But don't stop talking to the rest of your customers for the sake of those ones that don't want to hear from you anyway, right? That's not who you're talking to. So once you've mapped this out, you can go all the way through to having a follow-up sequence that lasts 5 years after the point of their booking if you want to. Ours at the moment goes out to about 3 years. And the thing to remember with that is that people are only getting that entire sequence of follow-up if they do not rebook. Because if they rebook, then it's starting again. So they're not getting every single thing that we're saying and we're just reaching out with into the void for no reason for 3 years or 5 years or whatever it may be, because for the majority of those clients, they're going to rebook. And so then their most recent point of contact with us, having us at their home to perform a service, has been only 6 months ago or 12 months ago or whatever the case may be. Now, as you're trying to build out this customer life cycle and this follow-up sequence, there is going to be some mental pushback. And like anything that you're trying to change or level up within your business, it's an identity range. That's really what you're struggling against. That's what you're bumping up against. So your identity range, let's just say from that spectrum of having zero follow-up all the way through to having this meticulous, amazing, systematized thing that runs for 5 years. If on that spectrum, let's just say to put a number on it, you're at 20%, right? If you try to improve it, you might naturally do a few things and you'll improve it so that you're now at 22%. But making a shift from, say, 20% all the way through to like 75%, that actually requires changes to who you are and how you're showing up and how you're interpreting what the follow-up means and how your business is showing up. So there's a lot more that goes into that, and it can get really complicated and you can feel stuck doing it. So don't set out with this massive goal of, okay, I'm going to do absolutely everything. I'm going to have all of these automations. I'm going to have everything set to go, and it's going to run out for this 5-year sequence and all of that. Just start with the most immediate concern. When you sketch this out on a bit of paper, what does it look like around the point of the booking? How can we improve that? Okay, what follow-up points do we have beyond that? What could we add in? How could we better structure that? How could we add value between those points? Just look to add a few little bits and pieces into the mix of what's already there, and then flesh this out over time. So that's tip number 1, to essentially lower the bar to entry of what it requires of you to get this process started. Tip number 2, though, goes in the other direction, which is to segment your list and pick a small section of that list that you can target with high volume follow-up. Now, a key benefit of this is that it reduces the threshold in your mind of what can go wrong. You're not worried about your entire customer list. You're just talking to 100 or 200 people at a time. Then you can experiment with that list and send them an increased volume of follow-up. I challenge you to really push yourself on this. Take whatever number you think is pushing yourself and multiply it by 3. If you thought, I'm going to be really bold and I'm going to follow up with 3 touch points over 2 days after someone requests a booking. Okay, let's triple that. Let's make that 9 touch points over 2 days. Don't extend the time frame, but increase the intensity within that time frame. Within the workbook to the low-hanging fruit challenge, which I'm going to come back to in a moment, there is a graphic showing the different spices that you can add to your follow-up. And the way that you sequence things, the way that you frame it, the ingredients that you include within your follow-up greatly increases your ability to be able to manage multiple touch points of contact with that prospect or customer without getting an overly negative response. Crucially, I would say the 2 key ingredients are a logical justification and context pointing towards the next touch point. So, for example, if in your follow-up sequence it sends them a message at lunchtime and then you're going to send them another message at the end of the day, in the lunchtime message, reference that message that's coming through at the end of the day, because then they understand that if they don't reply to this message, if they don't action this message and tell you, you know what, buzz off, I'm not interested, then all you're doing when you follow up with another message at the end of the day is exactly what you said you were going to do. You're just keeping your end of the bargain. And so you reach out again, and it reduces the amount of anger that they can feel because they didn't get back to you. They didn't stop you from following up as you had promised to do. Now, everything in relation to your follow-up is both an art and a science. But guess what? You cannot study the science and you cannot improve your artistic talent if you don't put the work in. The crucial element is volume. You just need to start doing it. You need to push yourself to get past some of that mental resistance that you have so that you can get good at the art, so that you can learn and understand the science. Only then will your follow-up improve. And without an effective follow-up system within your business, it will always feel as though you are a servant to your business, that you must answer its every beck and call, when really you want that relationship to be the other way around. You want to ensure that your business is serving the interests of you and your family. So since you want your business to better serve the needs of you and your family, it is incumbent upon you to do the difficult things to stretch that identity range, to push yourself to do the reps which will allow you to learn the science and explore the art of follow-up, so that you can create that stability, that peace of mind, that continuity within your business that allows you to buy back more time, more mental bandwidth for the things that matter most. Now, if you're listening to this and thinking, yeah, look, that's me. I know that my follow-up is costing me. It's not as good as it should be, but I just don't know what to fix first. I'm feeling stuck, right? Let's chat about it. Book a free call, link in the description. We can even develop your follow-up system live on the call and break through from that point at which you're feeling stuck. Also, in our free school group for family-oriented business growers, there is the low-hanging fruit challenge. It's completely free, and it is all about building out your follow-up system and a referral program. Now, no matter what your system looks like currently, I guarantee that there's going to be some different perspectives within that challenge that will give you some ideas to improve on what you're already doing, even if what you're already doing is really, really epic, okay? So jump into the description, book a free call. That's it. Have an awesome day. Make someone else's day awesome. I love you just the appropriate amount, like take whatever is weird and then take a healthy step backwards from that line. That's exactly how much. If it's weird, you're the weirdo. Catch ya. Bye. Hey, you're a family-oriented business grower. You should join our free group for family-oriented business growers. It's like the perfect place for someone your size and shape. Join via warplan.au, link in the description, and whilst you're there you can book a free clarity call with me to help identify the next 3 dominoes you need to knock over in your business.